She's ignoring you. Use this stoic secret to win her attention. Have you ever had that sinking feeling when a woman you like suddenly ignores you? You send a text, maybe even something thoughtful, and then nothing. Minutes turn into hours. Hours turn into days. You check your phone over and over, hoping to see her name pop up. You see her online posting stories, maybe liking other people's photos, but your message is left cold. That silence cuts deep, doesn't it? You start questioning yourself, wondering if you said something wrong, if you came on too strong, or if maybe she's just not interested. That's the hook. And let me tell you this, you don't have to live in that misery. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to take back your power when she ignores you, and you'll come out stronger than ever. And hey, before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you deal with rejection. Welcome back. Today, we're talking about one of the most frustrating things men face: being ignored. It's a universal experience. Every guy, at some point, has sat there staring at his phone, feeling that sting of being unseen. And I want you to know, you're not alone. But here's the good news. While most men crumble in this situation, you don't have to. You can use this exact moment to show strength, self-control, and confidence. You can use her silence not as a punishment, but as an opportunity. That's what we're going to uncover together today. First, let's be clear about why this happens. Women ignore men for many reasons. Sometimes she's genuinely busy. Sometimes she's distracted by work, family, or her own drama. Other times, she's testing you. Yes, testing, to see how you react under pressure. And sometimes she's just not that interested. But here's the key. The reason doesn't matter. Not really, because you can't control it. You can't control her phone, her schedule, her emotions, or her choices. The only thing you can ever control is yourself. And when you start to live with that truth, you unlock real power. Let's imagine this together. You're texting a woman after a fun first date. The chemistry felt real. You laughed, shared stories, even talked about plans for the weekend. The next morning, you send her a light, friendly text. Hours pass. No reply. By evening, you start feeling restless. You check your phone 10 times in an hour. Still nothing. The next day comes, and the silence stretches longer. In that moment, you're tempted, so tempted, to send another message. Something like, "Hey, did you see my text?" Or even worse, "Are you ignoring me?" And that's exactly where most men fail, because the second you chase, you hand her all the power. You make her silence bigger than it really is. But you're going to do something radically different. You're going to do nothing. Yes, nothing, and I know what you're thinking. How can doing nothing be a strategy? But hear me out. Doing nothing doesn't mean you don't care. It means you choose not to let her silence control you. It means you're standing firm, unshaken, confident in yourself. When you resist the urge to chase, you're sending a powerful message. I am not dependent on your response for my happiness. I am complete on my own. And that, my friend, is the foundation of Stoicism. You don't control what others do. You only control your response. And the strongest response is calmness. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Her silence? That's the outside event. Your reaction? That's your mind. That's your battlefield. And when you stay calm, when you choose not to react, you win. Every single time. Now let's go even deeper. Doing nothing is only the first half of the principle. The second half is shifting focus back to yourself. Because if you just sit there staring at your phone in silence, you're still trapped. You're still waiting. Instead, you redirect. Every ounce of energy you would have wasted worrying about her, you pour into your own life. Go to the gym and push harder than ever. Work on that project you've been delaying. Call up your friends and spend time with people who actually value you. Dive into your hobbies, the things that make you come alive. The more you pour into yourself, the more her silence shrinks into the background noise of your life. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine two men. The first guy gets ignored, panics, and spends the entire weekend staring at his phone, refreshing social media, and feeling miserable. By Monday, he's exhausted, drained, and bitter. The second guy, he gets ignored, shrugs it off, and spends the weekend hitting the gym, working on his side hustle, and hanging out with his boys. By Monday, he feels energized, proud, and focused. Which one do you think she's more likely to wonder about? Exactly. The man who didn't crumble, the man who stayed in control, the man who chose himself. And here's the kicker. The more you focus on yourself, the more attractive you naturally become. Because women, and people in general, are drawn to men on a mission. Men with purpose, men who don't lose themselves over a text. That kind of energy is magnetic. You don't have to fake confidence when you're genuinely building it in your own life. And the irony, when you stop caring so much, when you stop waiting around, that's usually when she comes back. Because she feels the difference. She senses that you're not desperate, and desperation repels. But calm confidence, that pulls people in. Let's pause here for a second. I want to ask you something. If a woman ignored you right now, what would you do? Would you chase or would you pull back and focus on yourself? Drop your answer in the comments below, because I want to see how many of you are ready to flip the script starting today. So let's sum up this first principle. When she ignores you, do nothing and shift the focus back to yourself. Don't chase, don't beg, don't let her silence run your day. Instead, reclaim your time, your energy, and your dignity. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's control. And once you master this, you'll never look at being ignored the same way again. Now that you've learned the first principle, do nothing and shift the focus back to yourself, it's time to take things up a notch. Because ignoring her back isn't about pettiness or revenge. It's about mastering the psychology of attraction. And that brings us to the second principle. Reverse psychology. You've probably heard of reverse psychology before, but let's break it down in a way that actually works. When she ignores you, the natural expectation is that you'll chase. She expects another text. She expects a call. She expects you to show frustration or confusion. But when you don't, when you ignore her back, not out of anger but out of calm self-assurance, you completely flip the script. Suddenly, she's not in control anymore. You are. Imagine this scenario. You text her twice in 1 week. No response. Instead of texting again, you go silent. A day passes. 2 days. Instead of spiraling, you're out living your life, posting pictures of you at the gym, hanging with your crew, enjoying yourself. Not to get her attention, but because you genuinely refuse to put your life on hold for someone who isn't responding. And what happens? Her curiosity kicks in. She starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Did I lose him? Is he talking to someone else? That's the power of reverse psychology. By refusing to play the game, you end up winning it. Here's the twist. Reverse psychology is not about manipulation. It's about self-respect. You're showing her that you won't dance for crumbs of attention. You're not going to let someone's silence dictate your value. And when you send that message, both to her and to yourself, it's powerful. Because confidence isn't what you say, it's what you demonstrate. And ignoring her calmly demonstrates that you don't need validation. You are already whole. Now let's add another layer. Calm indifference. This is principle number 3, and it's where most men fail. They may try to ignore her, but inside they're boiling with frustration. They're faking indifference while secretly obsessing. But true, calm indifference is different. It's not pretending you don't care. It's genuinely not letting her silence disturb your peace. That's what makes it so magnetic. Think about it this way. When a storm hits, weak trees get torn apart, but strong oak trees, they stand tall, rooted, unshaken. That's the energy you need to embody. Her silence is the storm. Your calmness is the oak. No matter what happens, you stand firm. You don't lash out. You don't send angry texts. You don't demand explanations. You breathe, you stay centered, and you keep moving forward. Picture this. She finally texts you back after days of ignoring you. Maybe she says something casual like, "Hey, sorry, been busy." In that moment, most guys explode with relief. They respond instantly, pouring out long messages showing how desperate they've been. But you respond calmly. Maybe a short, polite reply. No questions about why she disappeared. No bitterness, just steady composure. And that's when she feels it. She realizes she doesn't control you. That's when her respect for you grows. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been around someone who always stays calm under pressure? Maybe a friend who never loses his cool, no matter what happens. Didn't that make you respect him more? Didn't it make you want to be around him? That's exactly the energy you need to give off. Calm indifference is not coldness, it's strength. And strength is irresistible. Here's a quick exercise. Next time you feel anxiety rising when someone ignores you, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, her actions do not define my value. Then redirect that energy. Go for a run, hit the gym, work on a passion project, anything that grounds you back in your own life. This way, you're not bottling up frustration, you're transforming it into progress. That's the secret to staying calm. You move energy away from obsession and into growth. Now let's combine principles 2 and 3. Reverse psychology creates curiosity. Calm, indifference creates respect. Together, they form a powerful dynamic. When you don't chase, she starts to wonder about you. When you stay calm, she starts to respect you. And when curiosity and respect mix, attraction naturally grows. You didn't manipulate her. You didn't beg for her time. You simply stayed true to yourself. That's what makes you stand out. Let's be real for a second. Most men can't do this. Most men crumble the moment they're ignored. They panic, they overthink, they lose themselves. That's why learning this mindset puts you ahead of 90% of the competition. Because being calm and steady in the face of silence is rare, and rare is valuable. Quick pause here. If this is hitting home for you, if you're starting to see the power of staying calm and in control, then smash that subscribe button right now. Because this community is all about building men who don't get shaken by silence, rejection, or games. We're building men who rise above. And if that sounds like the man you want to be, you're in the right place. Let me give you another scenario to really bring this to life. Imagine you're dating a woman casually. Things seem good, but suddenly she goes cold. A week passes, no texts, no calls. You're tempted to reach out to ask what's wrong. Instead, you focus on your life. You hit new personal records at the gym. You crush a presentation at work. You spend quality time with people who energize you. By the time she circles back, you've already leveled up. You're not sitting there bitter. You're thriving. And when she does reach out, you respond calmly, without judgment. That's when she sees you differently. Because most men would have cracked under the pressure. But not you. You stayed rooted. You showed strength. And strength is always attractive. Remember this. Calmness is power. Power is respect. And respect is the foundation of real attraction. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to play childish games. You just need to hold your ground. Because when you hold your ground, people notice. And more importantly, you notice yourself changing. You feel stronger. You feel more in control. And that's a feeling no one can take from you. So let's recap. Principle 2 is reverse psychology. Don't chase, ignore her calmly, and let her curiosity grow. Principle 3 is calm indifference. Don't fake it, live it. Genuinely refuse to let her silence disturb your peace. Master these, and you'll find yourself standing out in ways you never imagined. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're truly in control of yourself. And that is the ultimate form of attraction. Now let's move to the final and most powerful principle, detachment. This is the ultimate stoic move, the mindset that separates the men who crumble from the men who thrive. Detachment means this: no matter what happens, Whether she replies or not, whether she stays or leaves, your peace remains untouched. You stop tying your happiness to her decisions. You stop outsourcing your worth to someone else's response. Instead, you own your value completely, and that's true power. Think about all the times in your life when you were overly attached to an outcome. Maybe you were waiting on a job offer, replaying every interview answer in your head. Maybe you were stressing about a test result, imagining the worst-case scenario. Or maybe you were clinging to a relationship, afraid of losing it. What happened each time? The more attached you were, the more anxious you felt. Your mind spun in circles. Your emotions drained you. That's what attachment does. It chains you to things you cannot control. Detachment, on the other hand, is freedom, and freedom feels like peace. Let's imagine a dating situation. You text a woman, and she doesn't reply. You can either spiral, checking your phone all day, or you can detach. Detachment means saying to yourself, her response does not control my value. My life moves forward with or without this text. With that mindset, her silence loses its power. You've broken the chain. And ironically, when you stop caring so much about the outcome, that's often when the outcome shifts in your favor. Because calm confidence is magnetic. But let me be clear, detachment is not the same as not caring. You're not becoming a robot. You're not shutting yourself off from connection. You're simply refusing to let another person dictate your emotional stability. You still care, but you care from a place of strength, not desperation. That difference changes everything. Here's a real-life example. Two guys are dating the same woman. She goes silent on both. The first guy is devastated. He spirals, sends 3 texts in a row, and finally calls her, asking what's wrong. He hands her all the power. The second guy notices the silence, shrugs, and keeps moving with his life. He hits the gym, enjoys his hobbies, and doesn't break his stride. Days later, she comes back. Who do you think she respects more? Who do you think she feels drawn to? Exactly. The man who detached. The man who didn't let her silence shake his foundation. Now, let's tie all of this together. You've learned 4 powerful principles. Do nothing when ignored. Don't chase. Don't beg. Shift the focus back to yourself. Invest in your growth. Practice reverse psychology and calm indifference. Let her wonder while you stay rooted. Detach from the outcome. Whether she responds or not, you stay at peace. When you live by these principles, you no longer see being ignored as rejection. You see it as a test. And instead of failing like most men, you pass with flying colors. You show composure. You show control. You show strength. And that strength doesn't just help you with women, it elevates you in every area of your life. Because here's the truth, life will always test you, people will ghost you, opportunities will slip away, doors will close. But your reaction will define who you are. Do you fall apart, or do you rise stronger? Stoicism teaches us this: rise. Always rise. Control your response, and nothing can control you. Let's take a moment to picture your future self. Imagine a version of you who never panics when ignored. Imagine a version of you who doesn't waste hours refreshing notifications, who doesn't beg for attention, who doesn't tie his worth to someone else's silence. Instead, you're calm, you're confident, you're in control. You're out there building your body, your mind, your purpose. You're surrounded by people who respect you because you respect yourself. That's the man you're becoming. That's the man women notice, admire, and chase. And it all starts with mastering your response to being ignored. Now I want you to think about this. The next time a woman ignores you, you'll be tempted to react emotionally. You'll feel the urge to chase. But in that exact moment, remember what you've learned. Pause, breathe, detach. Redirect that energy into yourself. Smile, because you've just been handed a chance to prove your strength. And when you pass that test, you don't just win the interaction, you win your own respect. And that's priceless. Let's pause for one last check-in. If you've made it this far, you're serious about growth. So do me a favor. Drop a comment right now and tell me which principle hit you the hardest. Was it doing nothing? Shifting focus back to yourself? Reverse psychology? Calm indifference? Or detachment? I want to know which one you'll start applying today, because action is what turns knowledge into power. Here's the bottom line. When a woman ignores you, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's your chance to rise above, to prove to yourself that you're not like the rest. Most men crumble. You won't. You'll stay calm, centered, and in control. That's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you magnetic. And that's what makes you free. So, my friend, the next time you're left on red, don't chase. Don't panic. Don't crumble. Instead, take it as a test and pass it with strength. Because when you master this, you're not just mastering dating, you're mastering life. And nothing is more attractive than a man who is truly in control of himself. If this message resonated with you, don't just click away and forget it. Subscribe right now and join a community of men who are committed to emotional mastery. Men who don't break under silence, rejection, or pressure. Men who rise. Men who lead. And if that's the man you want to be, you belong here. So subscribe, drop a like, and keep leveling up. Because this isn't just about dating, it's about becoming unshakable, calm, confident, in control, always.